You want to look like a pro on Zoom, and I want that for you too. I really, really do. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so we can meet right back here and you can learn the do's and the don'ts for showing up looking like a pro on Zoom. Welcome back, my friend. Whether you're using Zoom for corporate presentations, hosting online courses, meeting a friend and catching up, I don't care, but I want you to show up looking your best, sounding your best. So I'm going to go over the 7 things that you need to do and not do to show up looking like a pro on Zoom. Let's go. Number 1 is your light. I want you to light it up, Buttercup. Please don't hide your beautiful face in a shroud of darkness. So much of how we connect online is seeing each other, and being able to see you means you need to have good lighting. Your background's not nearly as important as you showing up to make that interwebs connection. Now, if you don't have a great light set up in your room, or you don't have 3-point lighting, go look for a window so you can face the window. I mean, look out the window. So many people plop themselves right in front of the window and they're like, isn't it pretty out there? Yeah, we don't know because it's blown out. And by blown out, I mean you're backlit. And by backlit, I mean that all we see is this white box behind you and you're in darkness. And we're talking about getting light on your face. So just turn around, face the light, go towards the light, my friend. Lighting is so important in order for people to feel connected. Now, number 2 is your sound. Now, these days, the native sound that comes with your phone or your computer is generally really good. You don't need additional sound. What you need is to make sure that your sound is up and you are close enough so that we can hear you. If you do feel like, oh, I need to bump up my audio a little bit, I highly recommend the Blue Yeti mic that you see here. It's fairly inexpensive and it works great. What I don't want you doing is wearing your earbuds, your earphones, or your gaming earphones. Come on, people, we're showing up like a pro here, unless you absolutely have to, because there's just too much noise going on behind you. Sound is so important because if you think about picture versus sound, someone will stay and hang out and watch your video or hang out in your meeting with you if they can hear you well. If the picture's not that great, but they can hear you fine, no problem. If they can't hear you and it's squelching in and out, or but your picture's beautiful, they're not going to stick around. So do put a little bit of thought into your sound and test it. Turn on Zoom, record, see how it sounds. Sounds good to you? You're good to go. Number 3 is your framing. Now, this is one of those things that makes me twitch because I see CEOs and I see professionals showing up here and sometimes all the way back here. Now, we just talked about sound. You can't hear me very well because why? The native sound's all the way over there. Also, when you decide to show up small in your space, you're being perceived as small. And again, this is called show up looking like a pro on Zoom, not show up looking like a scared cat in a cardboard box on Zoom. So what I want you to do is fill the frame. I know, duh, right? So what I mean by that is I want the top of your head tickling the top of your Zoom screen. I want you, you can stay centered or whichever side, but I want you to be the focus, right? I want you connecting with your camera. This all has to do with your framing. I don't want you all the way down here with all of this headroom. No bueno, my friend. No bueno. We don't want that. Again, you just want to fill the frame, just tickle the top. If you have a lot of hair, tickle the top from here. We just want to make sure that we can see and connect with you. Now, number 4 is your background. Listen, you don't have to have a fancy, beautiful, I know, isn't it great, background like I do. I teach video. Yeah, my background's going to look really, really good. What I do want to encourage you to do is clean it up. I can't tell you how many Zooms I see where either someone's husband's feet are in the Zoom because they haven't bothered to leave the living room or ask their husband to leave the living room, or there's a pile of laundry on the stairs, or there's just a crazy messy bookcase behind them, or they're using the virtual background that comes with Zoom and they're not using a green screen. Please don't do that, okay? The virtual background is a great option if you have a green screen. This is an example of someone just using it without it. And this is someone using it with a chair green screen. They are inexpensive. And that way you can show up, pick your background, pick something with depth, and you look like a pro now, right? And that's a nice background. The other thing I see people doing is they plop themselves in front of a really busy painting. Don't let your background speak louder than you, right? Try and move as far away from your background. Look how far I am from my background. I don't expect you to have that much space behind you, but if you do, use it. If you have a beautiful kitchen or something behind you, you have a beautiful hallway, use that as some depth behind you. Again, remember in framing, you're filling the space. Your background is not nearly as important. And now on to number 6. Listen, Zoom has some pretty great settings that you can use. There's a couple things I want to make sure you have set right off the bat. The first is make sure that your video is set to HD. We want to make sure that it's high definition. Sometimes I see people pop onto meetings and they're square and they're like, I don't know why I'm square. And then we just put them in through the settings to hit their high definition. Voila, you're showing up looking like a pro in HD. Now, there are some other fun things that a lot of people don't even know about. One, I call the Barbara Streisand filter number 35. Ladies, this makes you look at least 5 or 10 years younger. It's called Touch Up My Appearance. So play with it. Again, the bottom line here is play with the settings. Go in there and figure it out. There's also a setting for low light. If you are in a space or you're on an interview and you're interviewing someone and their light's not great, go ahead and have them work with this, because generally adding light to something virtual isn't great. Zoom does a fairly good job. Now, you don't want to blow out and make it look terrible, but that's just a great way to amp up your light without having to invest in a lot of additional lighting. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is what to wear or not wear on video. Listen, y'all, I've been working online and working with Zoom for 10 years, way before the pandemic. I have always rocked the business on top and nap on the bottom. Please don't bring your nap on top and expect to be taken seriously as a professional. Now, when I say professional, I don't mean a corporate stuffed head. I mean someone who is the authority and the best at what they do. That's a professional, and you need to show up and own this space. Now, there's a handy dandy look great on camera guide that you can just download for free in the description here. But I also want to caution you to not show up directly after you work out when you're all sweaty. Ew, nothing worse. There's lots of worse things, but that's gross. Please don't be gross. Remember, we're showing up like a pro. Also, I don't want your outfit speaking louder than your words. Just like we talked about plopping yourself against a busy painting, I don't want you plopping yourself with way too much makeup or just like neon earrings, unless it's part of your look. If you can pull off neon earrings and it looks great on you, fantastic. If you're me and you show up with neon earrings, people are going to expect me to teach some sort of 80s aerobic video. Not okay. So again, go download that guide, find out the best colors, what you're supposed to do, and all of this information is on a handy dandy little sheet for you. Oh, and before I go, make sure that you're updating your Zoom. When Zoom says it has an update, make sure you update it. Now, not right before you have a meeting and you have to log out and log back in, but make sure that you're keeping up to date on the updates, because they keep releasing really fun things that help you show up and look like a pro on Zoom. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, and I'll see you next week.